Okay, and welcome to Thriving Coach Intensive. Class is now in session. You are just in time for session 3, part 2. We're still talking about your people. So what you're going to learn in this session, I couldn't tell you all about your people and not tell you kind of what to do with these people that are coming in, right? So I'm going to talk to you today about how to network without feeling anxious or annoyed or out of sorts when you're networking. How to get over the anxiety of having to tell people what you actually do. No worries, a simple formula awaits you. And also how to elegantly invite people into a new possibility. Or translation, how to sell people into your one on one offer. So, networking 101. I could do a whole course on networking, but it really boils down to, just a couple of things you have to keep in mind. And since my objective is just to jumpstart you, just to get you in the game, I'm just going to spend one slide on it. So, networking 101, the main objectives of networking to keep in mind. The point is to make genuine connections with people, right? Versus going out and thinking, what's in it for me? What am I going to get? I got to make a sale. I got to score. I got to score some clients tonight. I mean, how much pressure is that if you go out feeling like you got to put on a certain outfit, say a certain thing to land a certain amount of clients? It's a lot of pressure. So instead, just focus on building authentic relationships, because you never know how someone can add value to your life or vice versa. And really, the hard part or the work of networking comes in with staying in touch, with following up, and continuing to be of service to the people that you meet. And as you grow your network, keeping in touch, continuing to make connections. Um, that's where the work is. But really, showing up as your authentic self, really caring about what people are into and what they have to offer, really striking up genuine conversations. That's all networking really is, okay? So just keep that in mind and you're good to go on networking. So, anxiety, however, does come in, especially for my dear coaches, when it comes to having to talk about what you actually do. So, here I'm going to spend 3 slides on talking about the dreaded elevator speech and how to make it easy. So, I'm going to share 3 formulas with you that you can use anywhere really, but especially in these networking positions or situations. Um, and we've heard of elevator speeches, right? But just in case you're not sure what I'm referring to, an elevator speech is used to describe what you do, how to say what you do very briefly. And the idea of calling it elevator speech is if, for example, you were to get on an elevator with somebody else and you had to explain what you do by the time you reach your destination, you have about, 30 seconds. How would you do that? We love what we do. What we do involves so much that we could go on forever. That's not the hard part, but how do you say it in a succinct way? Succinct way. So here's script number 1 on how to describe what you do. You can say, I help, and then insert the ideal client who you help, insert a specific problem they want solved, and you know what problem they want solved because you've done your interviews, so they can insert the result you provide without, and then enter a pain or a fear that they want to avoid. So, for example, I help women addicted to sugar crush the cravings once and for all so they can enjoy rapid weight loss without having to sacrifice tasty meals. So, to dissect this, I help women addicted to sugar. That would be your ideal client. So, it's not just women, it's women who have a sugar addiction, right? What's their specific problem? Their problem is that they have cravings, that they can't control. So, the problem they want solved to crush the cravings once and for all. That's what they want, to be done with it. So they can insert the result. Enjoy rapid weight loss. They want to lose weight because sugar adds, to added pounds, more pounds. And once you cut sugar, you tend to drop weight. Without, what are they fearing they will lose? This is probably tapping into why they haven't hired a coach or why they haven't crushed cravings on their own. What are they trying to avoid? Without having to sacrifice tasty meals, or you could say without having to give up dessert, or without having to give up chocolate cake, right? And again, the more specific you can get on the key words and the key phrases they use, the more people will resonate with that part. But you're talking about what's the thing they don't want to give up. That's when you're really playing on this without part. So play with what you do and insert that into this formula and see what you come up with. And again, even if you're not super sure, the ideal client can bring us such angst. If you're like, I don't really know who I work with, but I know I work with women, that's fine. You're at a networking event. I work with women who are looking to crush cravings once and for all. It's fine. As specific as you can be is great, but even if you're speaking in general, if you follow this formula, people are going to understand what you do. And again, when we're talking about networking, the point is just to make the connection, right? Just to start the conversation. So this will definitely get you to the point of talking more at length at what you do. So of course, whoever you're talking to can ask follow-up questions, etc. If you're talking to your actual ideal client, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that actually sounds like something I need. And they'll ask probing questions. So do not fret about getting this perfectly right, okay? The next script. I help ideal client specific problem so they can insert that result, which allows them to insert a benefit they want to experience. So the only difference here is instead of saying a negative thing that they want to avoid, you're saying what they want more of in their life. Okay, so let me give you an example to make that more clear. I help women solopreneurs grow their business in a sustainable way so they can have more freedom in their schedule and more money in their pocket, which allows them to have the time and funds available to make a positive impact on the world. So, again, to dissect this, I help women solopreneurs. That's the ideal client. What is the problem they want solved? They want to grow their business in a sustainable way, right? That's what they want. So they can. Why do they want that? What's the result they're trying to achieve by having that problem that they want solved? They want more freedom in their schedule and they want more money in their pocket, and that is the result that they're going to get working with me, right? Um, and this allows them to have the time and funds available to make a positive impact in the world. That's what they want. So if you're talking to a world changer who, at a cocktail party and you say that, they're like, oh my God, that's what I want. I want to make a positive impact in the world, but I don't have the time. I don't have the money. They'll resonate with that, right? And you'll find that for what you do maybe lends itself better to the other thing. So like weight loss, again, might work with they're fearing, giving up chocolate cake. So maybe you want to use the without part, but you might want to use the which allows them. And you could flip it. So for the sugar addict, we can say, I help, women addicted to sugar crush their cravings so that they can feel, comfortable in their skin, so that they feel confident, going to any social event or whatever. So you can use the which allows them angle, or you can say without. Again, for the solopreneur, I help women solopreneurs. What was it? Grow their business in a sustainable way, so they can have more freedom in their schedule and more money in their pocket without having to give up time with their friends and family, for example. Because again, it's a fear of growing your business. You're going to have to give up time with your friends and family. But since you know that that's a pain for your ideal client, that's exactly what you speak to on that last part. And the reason why we're adding those tags, the without or which allows them, is because people, for one, if you're talking to your ideal client, they'll super resonate with that part because you just hit a point that they're like, oh my God, but that's the thing that I was afraid of, or that's exactly the thing that I want. They're going to be engaged in what you're saying. If you're talking to a colleague or someone that could refer you, um, that helps as a conversation starter. Oh, well, how do you help them crush cravings without giving up chocolate cake? How would you even go about doing that? Then they start understanding more of how you do, what your special sauce is, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, my cousin, Becky could totally benefit from what you do. Okay, so it's a really great conversation starter. And here's a more casual one. Um, I don't know if this is exact. This probably isn't the exact formula she uses, but I got this more casual idea from Rebecca Tracy from The Uncaged Life. You can look her up. She's great. But I love a super structured formula. And she said that you can just kind of be like, how such and such and such and such, and they have this issue. Well, I help them, da 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 da. And that's kind of how she went about it. So I'm still putting it in a formula, but this idea came from her. So you would be at a party and people would be like, "Oh, what do you do?" And you could say, "You know how ideal clients tend to have this issue that they want solved. Well, I help them basically insert the desired result." Okay? So an example is, you know how emerging coaches tend to be unclear about how to position themselves in the market? Well, I help them get clear about what they do and how they do it so they can start bringing in clients and cash fast. Okay, so again, it's not super structured, but after you've said an elevator speech so many times, like, I help da 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 da, you can say it's more casual. You know how these people do such and such and such. And even if the person you're talking to isn't familiar with your ideal client, you know how emerging coaches tend to be unclear how to position themselves in the market? They might be like, I mean, I kind of didn't know, but it's like, okay, but go on. Well, I help them get clear about what they do and how they do it so they can bring in clients and cash. Oh, okay. Well, I can totally see how someone would want that in their business, even if I don't know what you do. Now I can have a conversation and probe more. Or if I'm your ideal client listening to that, I'm like, yeah, I want some clients and cash. Like, tell me more about what you do. How do I hire you? So again, if you could use all three of these for your business, and it would be great. I would totally suggest that you plug in what you do and play with different ways you can talk about what you do, so that again you won't be anxious at a party having to figure out as a coach how to describe what you do. These are great easy ways to describe what you do in a really succinct way that's a conversation starter, and once you get rolling you'll be fine. So copy these, take these. They're really, really great elevator speeches, and you are no longer afraid of networking. Correct? Great. So this is really important because when you're talking to your warm market, right? So we know who your warm market is: your friends, your family, your past clients, your academic connections, professional connections, all those people we discussed in part 1. When you're talking to your warm market, they can easily understand what you do. Your warm market is full of people that are not in your industry. So this way they can understand what you do. Also, when you're talking to your warm market, once you're describing so easily and plainly what you do and the benefits that you provide, the results that you give, they can easily refer you. They know someone. They can go through their mental Rolodex and say, "Oh, I totally know someone that needs that. I didn't know what you meant by I'm a client magnet specialist, but now that I get that you help people bring in clients and cash to their business fast, I totally know of 10 people that need that," right? Also, when you're talking to your potential clients, and you may not know you're in front of your potential client, um, once you describe what you do, they will instantly know that you are the coach for them, and it's a magical, magical moment. So again, once you say, "I help you crush cravings without having to give up your favorite desserts," they're like, how? Tell me more. I want to hire you, right? So really important. So I keep using the word referral. So let's talk a little bit about referrals. A referral is essentially when your warm market, we know who that is, recommend your services, right? So they're people who know you in some capacity and they're able to recommend you to a colder market, to people who haven't experienced you yet. One of the most overlooked ways to grow your business, I gotta say, I don't hear people talking about referrals, yet that has been so crucial for me in my business. I mean, when someone is referred to me, I can't shake them. I can't say, "Oh, there's actually a better coach for you." When I get a referral, they are in it to win it. And it's a way for, again, business to just come to you without you having to have a big list or do a Facebook ad. And I know it can feel scary to ask for referrals, even though asking for referrals is a great way to get referrals. So I guess that's why people don't talk about it that much or don't even use it that much. Um, but I will tell you that a great way to get referrals is to give referrals. Absolutely, and I love giving referrals. I love just like seeking out people who are great at what they do and keeping them in mind. So when I hear, people with different problems, different issues, different things they're trying to solve, I love giving a referral. And when you start referring people, they take notice and they're more than happy to refer people to you when they know what your zone of genius is and how you can help others. And, for people who are in the service industry, we love being of service to people, however way. So if you are putting someone who's come to you in front of someone that has changed their life, that was you being of service to them. And it just creates a circle of love and abundance, and it's great. So I don't want you guys to miss out on this great opportunity of tapping into the whole referral network. So here's a sample and an example of how to ask for a referral. And again, this could be, a topic that you go on and on about, and there are different levels, but this is how to get you started, and this will send you on your way, and, it'll be great. So, something you can say, you can either put this in an email or this could be a verbal thing. As you know, I'm starting my own coaching practice where I help my ideal client get this desired result. Who do you know that can benefit from step one of my process, step two of my process, step three of my process? I'd love an introduction with anyone you know. Okay, that's just an example, or that's a template that you can start playing with to begin doing your referral requests. So here's an example. As you know, I have a coaching business where I help women solopreneurs grow their small business. Who do you know that can benefit from getting clear on their message, attract more clients, and make more money in their business right now? I'd love an introduction with anyone you know who could benefit from my services. So, again, you're putting in that ideal client, right? Women solopreneurs get desired results. They want to grow their small business. Now, if you're talking to your auntie, she's like, okay, but I don't even still know what that means. Grow their small business. I don't know how to grow a small business. So I still don't know who I can refer you to. Who can benefit from attracting more clients who can make more money in their business? Oh, well, I do know someone who has their own business. Is that what you mean by solopreneur? Oh, okay. So I know someone who has their own business and they are always talking about needing more clients. So I can definitely send you their email or their phone number and I'll connect you to, or I'll do an email introduction, right? So get into the headspace of when, I don't know if any of you have ever needed to do like write a letter of recommendation. Um, Sometimes it's hard, or even if someone's asked for a testimonial, you're like, okay, yeah, I think you're great, but what do you want me to say? Or you just kind of wish that they would write it and then you could kind of sign off on it. So this is kind of that idea why you're giving your step one, step two, step three. And since you've done the work to figure out your world changing way, you know what you do in steps. So you're going to pick out uh, some of your steps and insert them here. And what that does for the person you're asking to refer you is you're giving them some tangible ideas of what it is exactly that you do, so that when they're out in the streets and they hear people saying, "Oh, I just need to make more money in my business," they're like, "Oh, I just got an email from someone who does that," or "I just got an email from my niece," or "I just got an email from my colleague. I need to put you two in touch." People love to connect people. Um, so that's why you have that step one, step two, step three, right? I'm talking about the steps of your process. And you don't have to give all 5 steps, but just ones that resonate that people will understand. Lose weight, feel great, have a meal plan, whatever it is. Play with that too. But this will help people even forward your message along. Like, hey, is this something you can benefit from? Oh yeah, I'm trying to get clear on my message, attract clients, and make more money. I need that person. Okay. And then just ask for the introduction. I'd love an introduction with anyone who could benefit from my services. And that can look like, again, an email introduction, which is them CCing both of you on an email and saying, hey, this is my cousin, meet Hillary. You guys, I think, would be a match. Or it could be getting their email address or their phone number. Now, what I will say is that you want to be in a place of power versus being in a passive position. So saying, oh, yeah, give them my email or give them my phone number, then you are at the mercy of waiting for them to take the initiative. So definitely you get the information so that the onus is on you to make the move, so to speak. Okay. And that's all I'm going to give you on asking for the referral. So again, you could do that verbally. Hey, so and so, yeah, thanks for coming to coffee with me. As you know, I'm starting my own coaching practice where I help, women entrepreneurs start their small businesses. I just wanted to know if you knew anyone that could benefit from, you know, getting clear on their niche, attracting more clients, and then just bringing in money on a steady basis in their business. So, who do you know? So it could be verbal, it could be any kind of way that you interact with people. Cool. So, the main takeaways that I want you to have from the networking and referrals piece is that referrals are a great way to grow your business in both giving them and getting them. And all you have to remember is to be friendly, genuine, and generous. Also, just come from a place of service and you win every single time, right? And don't be shy about talking about what you do or putting yourself out there. Half the battle is just talking about what you do because people don't know. You think they do because you think about it all day, every day, but you got to tell them because they don't know. So, I mean, you're all set. What are you going to do when you get all of these warm leads and all these referrals just start rolling in? People are knocking down your door. What are you going to do? You got to have a way to invite them to work with you? So that could either look like inviting them to a discovery session. I don't know if you've heard of those before, a strategy session, and you need a way to enroll them actually into your offer. So I just want to make a distinction between discovery session and strategy sessions because you hear this in the coaching world a lot. Um, a discovery session is where you have put out there somehow, some way, um, that you are for hire, that this is the solution you provide and you're taking in clients. So the discovery session, its sole purpose is to just make sure that you vibe with the person and the person vibes with you. So there's no coaching necessarily. It's just getting to know you. Now, of course, by virtue of being a coach, the way that you do it, and I'm going to show you in the script, there is a coaching element, but the promise isn't that they're going to walk away with like their next best steps. Conversely, a strategy session does have a promise. You're going to be developing a strategy, or you're going to be giving them a deliverable and an actionable thing to take with them as when they get off the phone with you. When they get off the phone with you, they have some next best steps. So I see in the industry people calling it a strategy session when they really mean a discovery session. They're saying, yeah, get on my strategy session because that's just a thing to call it. But all they're really doing is seeing if you want to enroll in their program. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the person sometimes is getting on the phone thinking, oh, I thought you were going to help me with my problem or give me some preliminary steps. So being a coach with the highest of integrity, and it sometimes is just a mistake. So I just want you to know the difference. There's a discovery session and there's a strategy session. And if you went through a coaching certification program, most of them will teach you to give free coaching sessions to be able to enroll people, which tends to be a lot of work sometimes. And so people are getting away from that. But if you're giving a free coaching session, then that's like a strategy session. Okay. I tend to have an element of strategy session in what I do. So I do offer strategy sessions because I can hardly resist solving a little bit of a problem. I got to give people their next best steps because I'm the action instigator and that's just what I do. But again, the point of this conversation is just to say either if you're offering a discovery session, then you're filling out the vibes. If you're giving a strategy session, then you are giving a deliverable and that's your promise, okay? Do not call it a strategy session when you're not giving any deliverables. That's the takeaway. Okay, cool. So, what to do once the introduction has been made, right? So, you're either at a networking party, someone has done an email introduction, you have called someone on the phone. What's the next step? The next step is to set up a time to connect and to invite them to a phone conversation. And those phone conversations would either be the discovery session or the strategy session, right? And you can get fancy and have a calendar, that you send the link to your calendar and they can set up a session with you, but really bare bones. Email, just set up a time, 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Just agree, I'll call you, give me your number, or I have your number, I'll call you at that time, just as long as you've confirmed it. You can get as fancy or as basic as you want, but set up that phone conversation. Then you're going to take them through the following script for what I call your invitation conversation, or what's known in the industry as the closing the deal conversation. But that sounds so like, I don't know, I don't love it. So, yeah, and you're going to go through many trainings, I'm sure, in your life about this conversation. And I just want to say two things. One, I'm trying to give you the easiest, most basic way to do this so that you can, again, my focus for you right now is to get your one-on-one clients, to fill your practice so that you have oxygen in your schedule and in your bank account to then start looking into other things and more leveraged ways to grow your business. So this is very basic. Another thing is I'm not an aggressive seller. I really love working with people who are really fired up to work with me. And since I'm the action instigator, I like people who are ambitious and who are go-getters. So I don't want to have to be on the phone convincing you. If you're in, you're in. Awesome. If you're not, you're not. But let me tell you that there is so much psychology that goes in with the closing the deal conversation that you could teach a week-long workshop on it. And so you're going to hear other techniques. So don't go out in the world and be like, well, Jennifer didn't teach us that, or I didn't learn it that way. This is a really good basic way to start. And then you can get into assuming the sale and objections and all that stuff. But this will definitely get you clients, and it's an elegant way. It's a friendly way. It's not super aggressive, even though I will give you ways to take it up a notch and kind of apply the pressure. Um, but this is a very basic, friendly. Anyone who I've taught this, they love it because again, I have heart-centered entrepreneurs. They like this friendly way of doing their invitation conversation. So just know just know that. Okay. So we're going to be taking you through a script, basically. So write this down, take your notes. I'm giving you the psychology behind some of the prompts that I'm doing so that you can also make it your own and tweak what you like, change what you don't like, but you're not omitting things that need to be there just for the flow and the psychology to work out the way it needs to for this conversation to end in you getting your ideal client. Cool. Okay. So you get on the phone, ring, ring, hello, hello. What the first thing you want to do is explain what you're covering on the call, right? Hello, Becky. Today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to get clear on what you're looking for, what you're looking to achieve. I want to hear about, what's stopping you. I definitely am going to help you with your next best steps. If this is a strategy call, or you're going to say, we're going to see how well we can work together. I'm going to have some recommendations for you. I'll let you know if I have anything that I can offer you. And, then we'll just go from there. How does that sound? That wasn't the most elegant way, actually. I don't know why I got tongue tied, but basically explain what you're covering on the call. And you have this outline that I'm going to go through here. So just tell them what you're going to do. And the point of that is just to set you up as a leader of the conversation. So even them calling you, even them being on the phone with you, it's already a vulnerable position because they're saying, I might need a coach, or I'm even interested in hearing what a coach could do for me. So lead them, be the authority. Don't be like, okay, well, what do you want to talk about? Set the tone. What are you going to talk about? Bullet point, 3 things, okay? Then you want to get a clear emotional picture of what they desire. So again, you've seen this question before, probably in the interview questions, or you've other materials that we've had in this program. If you had a magic wand, what would you have happen in the next 6 months, right? I missed the word next, so there's a typo there. But what would you have, or ideally, what would you have happen in the next 6 months? And again, you want them to have an emotional connection to what they desire. I work with visionaries because you could say in 3 months, 6 months, a year. If I ask a visionary what they see in a year, they see a whole lot, right? So I usually do between 3 and 6 months. What do you see for yourself in the next 3 and 6 months? Another great way to ask this is if you have a program that's 6 months or a year long, you can ask them the time of your program, because then you'll really be able to be clear is if what they want to manifest and what you offer matches, you're a good coach for them. Also ask them, what would having that do for you in life? Again, you're connecting them emotionally, like, okay, this is your big vision, and like, why do you really want that? What would having that do for you in your life? Okay, you're getting them connected emotionally. Then they'll start, musing and saying what they really want. So you're gonna feel like, okay, so it sounds like you're really clear about what you want. So next you ask them, what is stopping you from having what you want? And I usually say that it sounds like you're really clear about what you want. So what's stopping you from having this that you want? And this is a great moment for you as the coach because you get to see exactly what their limiting beliefs are. What's getting in the way for them, right? And again, once you see what's stopping them, you know what they want. So you're getting an idea like, okay, I think I could help them. And then you see what's blocking them. You can then assess as the professional and the expert if you are the coach for them. Can you help them? If you're like, oh yeah, I got that. I can help you with that. So if someone's like talking about their deep childhood trauma and that's the basis for everything that's affecting them, I might think, okay, I might not be the best coach for them. And they might even want therapy alongside of coaching, or something like that. So you can really assess, are you the person for them? You can even go deeper and ask them, what's your biggest challenge with that? What impact does that have on your daily life? Why asking about their daily life? Well, because then again, they can see that this isn't just, oh, a big general problem that I wish could be better, but if I can't fix it, that's fine too. You're connecting them with how it's affecting them daily. Okay. So when they're connecting with that pain daily, you're cueing them, or you're priming them to understand that, yeah, this is something that affects me every day. And then you want to ask additional questions, and this is where you'll really custom it, that highlight the solutions you provide in the program. So, like, I was working with this woman who wanted to do marketing solutions. So she was asking, or we were developing her highlighted solutions, and so we were saying, do you feel like you waste a lot of time on social media, right? Because her solution that she offers negates people wasting time on social media. So, what are the solutions that you provide, that you can ask? Do you feel like you're lacking direction, right? Lacking focus? Well, if your program helps people focus, that's a question you can ask, so that they're connecting with, yeah, that's definitely what my issue is, because you're then going to offer your solution, and it's going to perfectly fit with what their issue is. And it's not sleazy, it's not to be manipulative, it's the truth. If that's the thing that their pain point, you have got the solution for them. Okay. And if it's something that you don't do, if it's something that you don't, problem that you don't solve, perfect. Because then it's like, okay, you're actually not for me. And then you go into recommending someone who can help them. Okay. Um, like advanced ish technique to preempt the I can't afford it objection, because it's coming, you're going to definitely run into that. You can explore what the problem is costing your potential client. So, the way to do that is say, oh, okay, so you're paying $115 a month on your gym membership, but when you come home, you binge because you have no control over your emotional eating. So actually, it's costing you about $1,300 a year just to maintain this painful situation. That's an example of giving them a, the cost of, like, the financial cost of their issue. And you can just take them into this as an exercise. Like, let's just explore. I understand that it's a pain point for these three reasons, but also let's look at what it's costing you. Okay, so this is a little more, in your face technique. And I tend to only use this if I'm on a follow-up call. If I've already talked to someone and they're like, oh, I can't afford it, or I got to think about it, and they keep wanting to schedule more calls with me, they're kind of raising their hand for coaching, but then they back out because it's scary. You're asking people to, step into a new possibility. So it's really scary. So for me, only if I have to pull out the big guns do I. But again, and if money blocks are something that always is coming up for your clients, maybe you work on money mindset. This is something that would probably be typical in your invitation conversation, because this is what they're dealing with, right? But usually people, time and money are the biggest objections. So this is a way to preempt that. So once you've done your highlighted, right, your highlighted solutions, and if you choose to do the money analysis, you then recap. What I'm hearing you say is you want more of XYZ and less ABC. You'd feel how whatever words they used if your life looks like 1, 2, 3. So again, you want to recap for them. What I'm hearing you say is you want more of XYZ, which is their magic wand picture, right? Their emotional picture. What do they want? So, what I'm hearing you say is you want more of what you just described in that magic wand. That's another typo. Your magic wand conversation. Um, and you want less of, again, it's that what they want to stop, what's stopping them, those limiting beliefs. You want less of that. That's what you're highlighting in that. So you need to be listening and taking notes and paying attention to those things. And you'd feel, how do they describe that they'd feel with their magic wand solution, right? If your life looked like, how do they want their life to look like in 6 months? Remember how they described that? That's what you're describing. And as closely as you can match exactly what they said so that they know you heard them, the better. So they might say, well, no, yeah, that's what I said, but actually hearing it back, that's not what I mean. And they might go deeper. Or they might say, no, what I want more of is da 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 da. So really, really listen. This isn't to be just like going through a script. Really, really listen. And as a coach, you know how to listen behind what they're saying. Sometimes they're saying words, but there's another meaning. Go ahead and describe that too, so they really know that you understand them. Once they confirm that you've heard them correctly, you offer your solution. You'll be like, okay, I get that. So I have an 8-week program that helps you get clear on your ideal client, helps you develop a program that you can sell, and will help you bring money into your business with ease. Okay. So that's it right there. And you're talking about benefits here, right? You can say the length of the program if you want, and then the main benefits. And as closely as you can match that to the pain points you just discussed, the better, because it's absolutely a solution. And I hope again you can see how it's not sleazy at all. They have a problem and you have a solution. It's your duty to tell them what you have to offer. And then you just invite them into the fun, right? Invite them into the fold. So you can say, if that sounds like something you're interested in, when can you start? I have an opening on Thursday or next Friday. Or if that sounds like something you're interested in is kind of the softer approach, but that if they're trying to get out of it, they'll hang on to that and be like, yeah, no, I'm not interested, or it kind of gives them an out. Or you could say, I have this program, it will help you bring more money into your business with ease. So when can you start? I have an opening this Thursday or next Friday, and just bust out your calendar, right? Because it's just moving them along in the process, because again, you're the leader of this conversation and you have a solution, so there's really no other question. I mean, if they want to solve this problem, you've got the solution. Now here comes the choose your own adventure part. At this time, they will either say, okay, well, wait, I have a question about, and then that's where you'll answer their questions. Okay, but you don't have to pose any objections. Let them, if they have objections. Some people, for me, sign up, they're like, okay, cool, right? um at this time, though, they'll most likely ask at least the price, if not other follow up questions. So you can give them the price, it's $5,000, and then wait to see what they say next. And I just need to cover this part because if they struggle, if they're like, oh, wait, that sounds like too much, or, they have a reaction, don't you start backpedaling and discounting and being like, okay, wait, to try to save them. Allow them to process through their money blocks. So don't get involved in their process. Don't start saying stuff. Don't start discounting. Just let them have their experience. Okay. Because again, as a coach, support them through that. And also, everybody has a level of money blocks. And so don't you put your money blocks, whatever your money issue is, on them. So if you feel like it's mean to ask for compensation for your service, the minute they pause or have an objection, you're going to come in with your money blocks and say, okay, how about 50% off? Right? No, don't do that. Do not do that. So let them go through whatever. If they're like, oh, I got to talk to my husband, or whatever they say, whatever they say, if it's a no, one way or another, you have the option of reminding them what it's costing them, right? When you did that, the cost analysis, or you can bring in that cost analysis, like, okay, I understand that you think it's expensive, but let's explore what it's costing you right now, right? That's when you can interject that, which I do that too sometimes. Um, or if it's a no and you don't want to press anything, you can say, okay, well, if I'm not the coach for you at this time, what is your plan for accountability? Because again, you said you want to get away from, ABC. And again, it's all those blocks and the things that aren't working for them. Well, you outlined that this is what you don't want. You're on the phone, so you clearly want to make a change. So what's your plan of accountability? When we get off the phone, how are you going to make a difference? And who's going to hold you accountable to that, right? So you can ask that, and they may or may not have an answer. If they don't have an answer, then again, explore what it's costing them. And you can then say, if you're a yes and it's only the cost, what if I let you spread the payments over 5 months or over 9 months? But then you can work with them if they're a yes and it's only a financial thing. Also, if they really do need to talk to their husband, or they really do need to just think about it, again, old school sales is like, don't let them off the phone, close the deal, they can think about it later. I don't do that. So just schedule a follow-up call. Sure. How about next Wednesday? Let's talk about this next Wednesday. Okay. And so that's why when I said on the follow-up call, then sometimes I bring up the what's costing you, because it's like, okay, look, you've raised your hand. You're obviously interested. It is scary, right? So help them along. You're the coach. So either inquire what their plan for accountability is and then offer your services again, or schedule a follow up call where, again, your follow up call will definitely be more of the discovery session of just really seeing, are we a fit? Is this going to work for you? And then when they say yes, of course they will, you're wonderful. You're going to walk them through the sign up process, and you just got yourself another client, and they are so lucky to have you. So, that is your invitation conversation sales training. So, now you are fully equipped to go out and get your peeps. So, inspired action steps for this week. You're going to brainstorm who is in your warm market and who you will connect with first. So write down their names and how you know them. What market, what do they fit in? And I'm having you write down how you know them just so you can see what's markets you've tapped into a lot, over time, which ones are giving you the best like feeder for your one-on-one clients. So just start keeping track, right? And your homework is to reach out to 5 people and tell them what you do in some kind of capacity. It might just be you getting used to claiming that you're a coach and talking about what you do and how you do it using those scripts I gave you, just how to describe what you do, your elevator speech. Um, and if you are currently in a job right now and you're doing coaching on the side, I want you to get used to when you're in certain circles, when you're going to your networking events to talk about your coaching. When people ask, what do you do? Don't feel obligated to say, I'm in sales, or I'm in accounting. You're giving them your elevator speech as it pertains to your coaching business because that's what you're putting yourself out there as. So practice that. And again, you're going to get bonus points. And by bonus points, I mean warm fuzzies on the inside. If you ask for a referral or invite them to a discovery session, right? So again, if you're talking to 5 people and you're actually saying, who do you know? Or I might be the coach for you, bonus points. And so to be entered into the drawing for this week, report who you connected with, the 5 people you connected with, and what was the result of the conversation. And it could be an email conversation or a phone conversation, but what was the result of the conversation? And turn that in to the Facebook group by 11:59 a.m. PST by Monday, March 16th. So you have a week and the weekend to talk to your 5 people, make those email connections, call up somebody, start telling them about what you do, and you can even ask, who do you know? That's the only question you got to ask. Who do you know? Who could benefit from my services? Cool. You guys are doing awesome. So let's review. We covered the main objectives of networking, right? We cover the 3 different scripts you can use to tackle the dreaded elevator speech. We defined what referrals are and why they're so important to your business. And we talked about how to enroll clients elegantly into your one-on-one offer. So next up, we have session 4, Your Time to Shine, and I will talk to you soon.